Hello, everyone. This is Mohammed Akif with Akif CPA. I'm a Texas CPA, also a chartered accountant in Ontario. And today we'll be discussing U.S. tax forms and deadlines for Canadians when they move to United States for work, for living, for any of the purposes. So this is an introduction video, which where we'll be discussing the forms on the U.S. side and their equivalency on the Canadian side, also the due dates of those forms, the payment due dates, and the filing due dates. And then the third thing is the extension forms. This is something that is new to Canadians when they move to the United States. Since on the Canadian side we don't have any extensions, on the U.S. side we do. I do want to point out the extension is to file, not for paying taxes. So the tax is due on the actual deadline. The extensions that we normally get, which is automatic extension through form filings, is for the filing extension only and not the tax payment. So the tax payments are due on the due dates of the form, original due dates on the form, and then the filing can be extended, but not the payment. Payments are due on the original date. So let's get started. So let's talk about the biggest form on the US side, which is the form 1040-1040. This is the same form on the Canadian side as T1. This is what we considered equivalent. And then so the due dates for the form 1040 is April 15. We do get extension. The extension that is filed is through form 4868. You can file that form, and then the extension extends the filing deadline till October 15, but the tax, if there is any tax due, will be due on April 15. The next common form that the Canadians come across when they move to US is the FBAR filing, which is the form 114. That is the due date for the form 114 FBAR is tied to 1040. So if you do get an extension for the 1040 form, the FBAR filing will be extended automatically. There is no separate extension for the 114 FBAR filing form, which is filed with the FinCEN, a separate filing than with the IRS. The third most common form is the form 3520, which is the trust reporting form. That form is due on April 15. That is also tied with your 1040 filing date. So if there's an extension on 1040, automatically 3520 will be also extended to October 15. The fourth form that we normally go with is 3520A. This is also a trust reporting form. The form 3520A tax filing deadline is March 15, not April 14, April 15. It's March 15. You still need to file an extension for that form. That extension needs to be filed to extend the deadline. But again, March 15 is a deadline for 3520A. So there's a difference between 3520 and 3520A. 3520 is a report transactions with the foreign trust and certain foreign gifts. 3520A is a trust reporting with a U.S. owner. Since you are becoming a U.S. tax resident, you are considered a U.S. person for tax purposes, so you are a U.S. owner. 3520A has a different deadline. The deadline is March 15, and we do get an extension. Make sure that you get the extension file. The extension is on form 7004, not the 4868. 4868 form is only for 10 to extend the filing deadline for 1040. So 7004 is what it's used for 3520A form. So these are majority individual tax forms that are required to be filed with your personal tax return. So let's get into the business side. So business side, it is. So for business side, let's talk about partnership. The partnership forms is 1065, 1065. The due date for the partnership returns is March 15. Of course, we have an extension for that too, and that can be extended to September 15. The other is a corporation. The corporation due dates, the C Corp due date is April 15. We get an extension. You can use Form 7004 to file an extension, and the due date is October 15 once you get the extension approved. The S Corp is also is a similar date to the partnership, which is March 15. We get an extension, automatic extension too, if you do file the form, and the extension is till September 15. So these are some of the common forms the Canadians come across when they move to US. The first year, the second year, getting used to it. That's the same thing. The FBAR is is almost the same as Form 1135 on the Canadian side, with a different reporting threshold. But if you were talking about equivalency, that's where it's going to be. So let's say Canadians who are non-resident of Canada but needs to still file the rental income forms, which is S216 election form, or some other withholding form, which is the S217. So the S216 are due on April. I'm sorry, they are due on June 30th, but the payment is due on April 30th. So that if you owe any tax for the rental income that you earn from Canada as a non-resident, the tax is due on April 30th. The form can be filed by June 30th, but the tax on that form is due on April 30th, which is the same date as of for S217. The seven due date is the same as the tax payment needs to be made by April 30th. The form can be filed by June 30th. So these are two separate dates. We want to make sure we are talking about payment date and we are talking about due date. So this video was just about Canadians who are coming to US who are not familiar with the US forms, getting to know the dates, the due dates, the extended due dates, and that's also the extension that you can use. Make sure that you do file an extension, even if you're filing on time. I will recommend filing an extension because it gives you that. Something can happen. It gives you that extra time. It gives you that additional time that you can use to check, recheck, and then God forbid something happens within. Let's say if you're trying to file, something happens in your family, or there's some problem where you need more time. You will always have that time to file. So there is no penalty for not filing it. It doesn't cost you anything. So make sure you do file an extension. Make sure you make it a habit of yours, and then even if you file the returns on time, if you have extension, that's the best thing you can do yourself a favor. Anything, just reach out to us with any questions, and I will be gladly answer them.